Hi, what is going on, my fellow YouTubers and viewers? Sorry, it is me, Boris, and welcome to an educational video that I'm doing. I don't even know why I'm doing this, just cause I guess I want to. Today I want to talk about a thing that supposed to concern our Earth, and well, I believe it's not concerning us enough since we don't give a crap. Well, forgive me for the language, but about, and we really should. Otherwise, well, at some day sometime in the following tens of thousands of years, we will extinct ourselves. Well, obviously, about matters like that, nobody cares right now, but maybe we really should, because who knows. So, the thing I want to talk with you about is pollution. Yeah, just out of the blue, like, hello, pollution. And it's kind of unexpected for me, because this is a video game channel and sadly it's an educational video. Like, what are the odds? Anyway. Right, so right. So what is pollution? Well, sorry for the microphone, let's just say this is a car. See, you get that, you get that, this is your door. Sorry, I don't know how to drive a car, okay? How to how to draw a car. So, say this is the exhaust pipe. Pollution. There is a power plant or a nuclear power plant, doesn't matter. And just draw that nice atomic symbol there. There's supposed to be an eruption let me start from happening. Never mind. I don't have time waiting for it. Anyway, this is a nuclear power plant or any power plant. Pollution. This is a refinery. Okay, sort of. You can. This is a refinery. It burns oil into different things like coal, gas, and all that. Pollution. Anything else? Well, and everything else that produces it. Pollution, motherfuckers. Pollution. Well, that sucks. Anyway, pollution. What is pollution? What does it do? Well, mainly, if I'm not mistaken, pollution is a gas known as CO2. Carbon dioxide, for those of you who don't know. Carbon it's not properly spelled that way, but carbon by di it means dual, like dual, so two. Carbon dioxide, which is oxygen. Oh, fuck my life. Anyway, again, sorry for the language. Yeah, carbon dioxide, CO2. Yeah. So, now we have, this is Earth, for example, yeah. Something like this. Just to summarize, it doesn't have to be particular. This is Earth, okay? Oh my god, this is horrible. Now our atmosphere, and this is the atmosphere, this is Earth, this is the atmosphere, and this is the sun. Now the sun, what's happening in the sun, it's so hot, it basically fuses. There's fusion happening on it every time, at atomic fusions, which sends out radioactive waves. Let's actually draw a wave, whatever, into the Earth, which, well, basically is radioactive, obviously. Now, the atmosphere here is like a shield. It prevents the sun from the radioactive waves to come in contact with the Earth, because if without this shield, the radioactive waves will go into the Earth and cause something that is called global warming, which basically heats up the planet until, well, it dries out, and, well, what are we left with? Nothing. Now, the shield is something called, you probably heard about it, the ozone layer. Ozone is O3. Okay, it's a molecule of 3 oxygen. You basically take this little ball as oxygen, and you have 3 of them entangled together. And this is called a molecule. Because this one oxygen, this is an atom, and when many atoms come together, it's a molecule. Yeah. So this little guy here is O3, which is the ozone. Now, when we produce pollution from the various things mentioned here, this CO2, basically what the CO2 does is it destroys this layer. Exactly how it does that, I'm not aware of. I did not research that. This based on common sense. And yeah, so this O3 destroys this ozone, and which makes holes in the ozone. So what happens is, and let's say we produced enough pollution that a part of this shield is gone. Okay, we have a hole in the ozone, and then what happens is the radioactive waves do get through our shield, our atmosphere, hit the earth, and cause global warming. Now, with enough of this, oh, okay, I know. Wait, okay, 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Now, and that basically heats up our earth. Now, the more pollution we produce, the more we produce, the more the shield gets destroyed, the atmosphere, the ozone, and the more waves we receive, which leads to more global warming and eventually the extinction. 1 second, guys. Which will eventually lead to the extinction of the entire human race, which is bad. Now, what does that mean? That we somehow need to stop it. Now, how do we produce oxygen? Yeah, also we'll be able to choke ourselves because oxygen, we have more CO2 than oxygen. Like this is what we need to breathe. If we will breathe this gas, we will choke and die. When your body inhales CO2, this is your cell. So when O2 is inhaled and used for the various processes of producing energy, ATP, it then outhales CO2. So, like, I don't actually understand. Is that correct? Wait. So we take in oxygen and we give away oxygen, the same amount, but with carbon. I do not understand that logic. That completely does not make any sense whatsoever. But whatever the reason is, that's what happens now. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Don't catch me on this part. But we do inhale oxygen and anyway. Now, so you're probably asking, okay, so how do we get oxygen essentially? Because if all the humans take out in all of the oxygen in the world, and then we take out carbon dioxide, then if the entire world was filled up with CO2, then how are we still alive? Well, because of nature. Hold on. Yeah, nature. Things like, let me draw that. This is a tree. It is sort of a tree. This is a flower. Yeah, I suck. Grass. Basically all the living nature things they take in carbon dioxide. Ooh, which means, wait, we breathe oxygen and we output this, and they use it. Now, when trees or nature, when it takes in CO2, carbon dioxide, it then outputs oxygen, the breathable version. breathable. Oh, God damn it. Now, which means that it's a trait. You come to a tree and the tree tells you that, hey, I'm giving you oxygen. Thanks, I'm giving you carbon dioxide. Okay, let's repeat that cycle, which is great. Now, obviously, trees also take in oxygen because just like any other living being, they also require energy, which are produced of oxygen as well. However, they make more oxygen. They make more oxygen than they take in carbon dioxide. Sorry, no, they output more than they take in, which is a fair trade. So, yeah. Now, with us humans, besides only making more pollution, we're also cutting down trees to make paper or whatever. We're burning forests. We're killing animals. We're doing all of that horrible things to nature, which, again, gives us less oxygen until we'll completely run out of it. Which, again, if we run out of oxygen, we will choke ourselves. If we make more pollution, we will heat up the earth. Eventually, we will extinct ourselves. So, how do we stop this madness? Well, we go green. If we use things like solar panels, yeah. Now, obviously, we're living in a age of electricity. Hold on, 1 second. There's the sun, the rays, blah 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 blah. Yeah. And this equals energy, electricity, energy, whatever. So, however, we're living, in an industrial age where this is just not, I think, not enough. If you take something like nuclear power plants, maybe a lot of pollution, but a lot of energy, which, isn't good in one hand, but good in the other hand. Obviously, no one will ever go back to no electricity. Nobody will go back to lighting candles. Hold on, this is the old candle trays. It used to be. Nobody will go back to this. This is sort of that rack that people have used to, wash their clothes. And now we have washing machines. Dry cleaning, what it's called. Well, nobody will go say no to this and yes to this. Nobody will do that. Or yes to this and no to freaking lamps, which are amazing. No, nobody will go back to these old days. Which is why we need a lot of electricity. And a lot. Yeah, there we go. A lot of this. So one of these is not enough. Gigantic fields are good, but also not the most efficient. We also have wind turbines. Wait, I could make this better. It's like giant helicopter, only, yeah. This spins from the wind, which generates. Now, unlike solar panels that use the solar energy, uses all of those, I guess the radioactive waste and produces energy off of that. A wind turbine is a more sort of free source. What it basically happens is when the wind goes here, it makes these things rotate, which inside of this thing inside there is an electromagnetic coil which is attached to a turbine that spins. Or sorry, should I say a dynamo. This is how electricity in the past was generated. I guess the very first electricity. They had dynamos which would spin, and from that spinning an electromagnetic coil around, different things, actually made energy. Now, nobody would like to do manual labor and rotate those turbines, so which is why we made a solar wind turbine. Now, obviously, shit, I just twisted my arm. Fuck. Okay, sorry. Damn it. So, Obviously, this only works when the wind is strong, and the stronger it is, the better. All in all, it only works on wind, because wind spins it. And I don't want to make these wings too heavy, otherwise they won't spin. An equivalent to this, we have a water mill, or how is it called? Whatever. This uses the same method, only this one, instead of spinning from wind, spins from water. Obviously, water needs to flow, a stream needs to flow, which will flip this guy around. You know those water mills. And that again. Only, I guess, again, when the water flows. So yeah. Now, best to set up one of these near a waterfall, but obviously if the waterfall is too strong, it will break that thing apart. Depends on what its material is made of, and overall, just the force of the water will probably break a watermill apart. But it is the best place to put one. I mean, you don't put it just on some kind of lake that will barely, ever go forward. Anyway, that's that. What else? Right. Another thing that we got is, yeah, I think that's it. Now, of course, we can go with the generation of coal. We can burn coal, which will produce energy. Now, again, that produces pollution. We can use water to heat up we can use coal to heat up water, and once water reaches 100 degrees Celsius, oh man, that was bad, 100 degrees Celsius, basically your average H2O, which is, oh man, in liquid form, will, in 100 degrees temperature Celsius, it will convert from H2O liquid into H2OG, which is gas. And this gas, we call it steam. Yes, we can use steam to make it to be used in steam engine. However, that produces pollution because it's water in a gas form, which is sort of lethal. You don't want to be stuck in a room full of steam. Also, when certain molecules, substances, are exposed to heat, they break apart. However, since water is a liquid, to break apart the hydrogen and the two atoms of oxygen, to separate them, you would need to electrolyze the water, provide an electrical current, which will, since O2 is gas, it will flow away, and you'll be left with hydrogen. Which should be also a gas. I'm not sure. Sort of. Anyway. Hold on. Right. And there's also a solid form of H2O, which is ice. Because solid water is ice. Now, one thing I don't understand what the hell it is what the hell is dry ice? I mean, ice is made out of water, which is liquid, so technically it cannot be dry. If ice is dry, what the hell does even happen? I mean, it means that it's dry. When something is dry, it means that a lot of heat is upon it. But if you put a lot of heat on ice, it will turn back to water. So what on earth is dry ice? I do not understand that. I think I should research that. But anyway, so if steam by itself does not produce pollution, I'm not sure about that. How do we heat up the water up to 100 degrees Celsius? We obviously need some kind of way to do it. You might be thinking, okay, so if this generates electrical current, can't we just put a boiler that will heat it up? Yes. However, do you remember what we said? The solar panels, the windmills and the water mills are inefficient at certain points, which leads us back again to using the methods that produce pollution. However, they do produce electricity. Now, this leads us to the problem that I'm trying to say that there is no way of making efficient green energy. I mean, this is one nuclear reactor, here's a question to you, to the smart people watching this video, if any. How many solar panels do you need so it will be an equivalent of a nuclear reactor? Now you'll probably ask me, it depends on how much fuel, how much uranium, or whatever, um, or whatever material I would use there. Okay, let's say 1 kilogram of uranium. Pretending, right? How much is 1 kilogram of uranium? Like, for example, if our reactor outputs a certain amount of voltage per second, and joules, yeah. How many solar panels are equivalent to 1 kilogram of uranium? So that's just something I want you guys to answer me. Well, how many solar panels is equivalent to 1 kilogram? Again, the question that I'm asking is, how much energy will we generate? In how much time? What's the output rate? Right? We need all these questions answered. Obviously, the way electricity works, it travels through wires. Now, some wires cannot, or have a limited amount of electricity that they can pass through them. Sorry, volt, right? You know how we say we're wasting energy? Well, the human energy that we have when our cells produce energy, the ATP that we need for our body to run, what happened is it generates heat. Heat is a source of energy. You can use heat to produce energy, which means technically a human body is also a source of energy. Now, which leads me to a question. I'm currently playing Minecraft Sky Factory 2 for the AT launcher, and I have a question. In there's a mod called Extra Utilities, which features a generator that generates power out of food. Basically, it takes up the food, it grinds it up, and depends on how much it is, how much it saturates, or I guess in real world, if such thing exists, in real world terms, depends on the complexity of the food, how many molecules and how many atoms it's built from. That's how much energy a generator would generate from food. Basically, my question here is there a generator, or can we do we have a good enough technology to make a generator that makes power using food? For example, hey, I have this generator, I throw in a piece of pizza that I can't finish, and I don't want to share, and I hate pizza, I just want to dispose of it. I throw it in a generator, boom, I get energy. So is there such a thing as a food powered generator? If not, well, let's just keep Minecraft's fantasy to itself and modded people. But anyway, so that's the question. Are we able to generate energy out of food? That's probably bizarre. Probably impossible, but still a question. So that's that. Basically, in conclusion, that's how energy works and how everything works. So the ultimate question, first of all, can you generate energy from food? Second, as you can see, we can make green energy, but it creates it inefficiently. If we want to do it efficiently and with more output, we put our planet at risk. So unless you want to suffocate to your death, or burn up for your death and become some kind of mutant, or die in radioactive waste, please try and, I don't know, somehow do something good for the humanity. Find some kind of area that nobody cares about, plant some trees, make a jungle. Well, that will take years. I mean, assuming the amount it takes for a tree to grow depends on what tree, because some grow gigantic sizes. So try to be more green for your environment. When you throw litter on the floor, lyrics from a song, never mind what, never mind, but anyway, so when you throw litter on the floor, like plastic bags and stuff, animals die. Animals that help the food chain. There is a food chain, if you're not aware. Basically, all this can be found on the internet, and it's also supposed to be common sense. This is how the world works. This coming from a 17-year-old biology student that goes to 11th grade. So pretty common sense, you know. Unless you heard it. I heard it somewhere else, probably from video games. But anyway. So guys, what you need to learn from this video is try to be more green to your environment. Try to help out any way you can. Plant a tree. Anything that does not concern pollution. Otherwise, we will all burn to death. Burn or blue color for suffocation. So yeah, choose your poison, motherfucker. Literally, choose your poison. So yeah, what do you want to do? What's gonna be your way of death? How are you gonna go out of this world? Choose your path now. Just kidding. Seriously, guys, take all I said seriously, because it's, yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye. Hopefully this, I don't know why the hell did I suddenly decide to do an educational video, but whatever the reason, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Sorry to march in on you like that, guys. Just a quick couple notes that I wanted to mention in the video. As you can see, it's finished processing. I mentioned that, you know, that tree that we give the trees carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. That process is called photosynthesis. So if you heard about that, now you know what it means. Photosynthesis is when the plant and the trees take in oxygen and output. Sorry, they take in carbon dioxide and they output oxygen. Oh man, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So just to summarize, if you didn't hear it, first of all, also sorry for the low microphone setting volume. I thought that if I'll put it on my table, you guys will hear me. Apparently that was not the case. Now I know why my friends sometimes don't hear me. I'll fix that. So just to summarize, we must try to stop the pollution in any way possible, because otherwise, like I said, the planet will overheat and we will dry out and we will die. So we must defend the planet we were blessed by. You know, believe it's God, believe that it's, you know, normal nature of space, you know, the movement of the asteroids, believe whatever you want. Point is, we have this planet, it happened, we're alive, we now need to protect it. Otherwise, if we'll keep doing what we're doing now, in a couple billion, million, trillion, zillion, I don't know how many years, we won't have a planet to live on anymore. So unless you want to die, or not you, but you're a sibling of siblings of, basically your child's child, you get my drift. If you want them to live a happy life, we need to stop pollution. So thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye. This time for real.